Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Lisa Ross, and I am a middle and high school choir director in London. In just a week and a half, our choral repertoire hub page has yielded some really thoughtful and diverse content, conversations, and community. And I thought it might be nice for us to push the envelope a little bit out of our normal text posts by interviewing some esteemed choral leaders, composers, or arrangers across the globe via Facebook Live, as terrifying as that is, to get a firsthand look at how we all work, since we so rarely get the chance to work together as choir directors and leaders. Today, I have on the line Adam Paltrowitz. And it is Paltrowitz.
It is.
Okay. Adam is a master educator, composer, conductor, and clinician. He currently he's the director of choral activities at a large high school in New York, and he lives in Manhattan. In addition, he runs a fantastic site called Choral Clarity, which is where I found Adam and discovered all the amazing things that he does. I strongly encourage you to go check out choralclarity.com and subscribe to his blog immediately. It has unbelievable insights and reflections and tools, etc. So having said that, welcome, Adam.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited, and I'm really excited about the group that you just started on Facebook. It's wonderful, and I've already asked questions on the group and tried to provide answers. But for me, it's just a great tool to get choral directors around the world to give their input on pieces that have been successful. So I love it. It's awesome.
Oh, it's great. I do find that, I know there's some varying opinions on this, but there's nothing as valuable as hearing from our colleagues who are on the ground working with choirs day to day.
Exactly.
You know, we can all read the research books and do our due diligence, which we do. But to hear what works for you firsthand, that's so valuable.
What works and why?
And why
it worked. I think the why is always the part that's missing. It's not just, well, name your 5 go-to pieces. It's name your 5 go-to pieces and why. And that why might not be your why. And that's why that piece doesn't work. And so I think sometimes if you not just say, well, I'm looking for something for, 9/11, or I'm looking for something for, Columbus Day. There's got to be more to it. I'm looking to reach this kind of audience in this way. What have you done that has reached the audience that way? What has been meaningful to your students that's uplifting? And
I
so
love
on.
that. What's so nice about that too, if we start to incorporate maybe the why into our responses as well, is that there's a metacognition factor there too, that we can actually think about why it was successful and whether or not it'll still apply to our next ensemble should we do that piece again. So yeah,
and I think when we present the why to our students with everything, starting with the repertoire, when we start creating the why, then they start to buy in more. So you might say, well, this is a really cool piece. I love the piece. That's not enough.
Yeah.
It's the why. Why do you love it? So I always try and find the why in everything that I hand out. And I find that helps to connect them right away. They can see it through my lens.
So jumping on that, when you are selecting repertoire, do you wait to hear your choir, since we're at the start of most of our school year or terms? Do you wait till you hear your ensemble to judge where to go, or do you choose in advance? What's your process?
I never wait. Well, first of all, my process, I always think with the end in mind, and the end in mind is not the concert. The end in mind is what do I hope that they learn throughout the year. And so for me, I throw a lot of music out. I mean, I would, if I had endless resources and time, I would throw something new out every single day, all year, because I want to see how the group gels around the music. And it's not just about their ability level, because we all know our students can aspire or can reach way higher than what we think they can if they were motivated in anything, right? So the only limitations that are really there are the ones that we put on them or that they are currently putting on themselves.
Mm.
So you could throw out, let's assume for a moment that you have enough voices to do an SATB piece. You could do any SATB piece that exists. The question is not, because if you take out how good does it sound at the concert for the people in the audience, and you're more about what are they going to gain from this experience, you can give them anything. So with that, I throw out a lot of pieces, and I really am not super concerned with the level of difficulty, with the exception of a beginning chorus. In a beginning chorus, I'm thinking more along the lines of unison singing to start with, not because I think they can't break into parts, but because I want them singing out, and I want them to sing freely. I want them to sing like soloists. I don't want them to sing like choral singers. I want them to really show what they can do, and I want them to be able to sing by themselves also. So if I give them, whether it's a round or a unison song or solo repertoire, then I could say, is there anybody that would like to sing the first 4 measures? Is there anybody that would like to sing the last 8 measures? Can row 1 sing? Can row 2 sing? Yep. They're all singing. They're all going through it. So I know I gave you a really long, convoluted answer, but what I'm really trying to say is that, no, I don't select the music based on the ensemble, at least to start with. Maybe 3 months into the year, I start to see where the group is gravitating and I pick pieces, but I don't, I throw music at them that I think is going to be rewarding. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't stick, if they're not gravitating toward it for some reason that I think is legitimate, just throw it away, go to something new.
That is, I don't know if you've ever felt that. There have been those few times where I'm like, I'm convinced they'll wind up loving it. I just have, but the moment you let go, you realize how much easier your life is going to be as well.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes it just doesn't click. Yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes it has to do with the way we've presented it. And we think we've presented it the right way. I'll tell you just a quick story that I use Sia Hamba for everything.
Yeah.
Everything you could ever imagine, we use Sia Hamba at our summer clinic, at our winter concert, at any uplifting, every multicultural event that we do. We sing this piece everywhere. My kids love it. They walk into my program loving it. You know, this is not an African American community. This is a predominantly white, Asian, predominantly a community. So I was at a workshop in New York State, upstate New York, and there was a woman who's, she was a college director. She had community choruses, and she was talking about choosing repertoire. And she said, you know, it doesn't matter how many times I try Sia Hamba, the kids hate it. The kids just hate it. They just don't like it. Now, it doesn't matter where I bring Sia Hamba, the kids love it. Now, I'm not saying I'm a better choral director. All I'm saying is, for some reason, when I present it, there's some kind of joy and connection for me. It's not about what I say. It's just, it's there. It's present. And they buy into it wherever I go. And they're not buying into it based on my culture. They're buying into it based on my love and how it speaks to me and what I can share. But this woman who also loves that piece, something is not gelling inside of her, which is why the students are not buying into it. So we don't always know why, because it might not gel. That piece might not gel for you this year, but in 3 years from now, it might. And you're going to say, wow, these kids are just so much different. But I'm going to argue that maybe you're different because just the way in which you come across is different.
I love that, because it's an evolution then, and it's not limiting what we can do. Can I circle back to the idea that repertoire doesn't need to be, if we're thinking of things of being easy or medium or challenging, what we were saying. So my high school choir, for example, is self-selected. We're going to come back to that term in a second. Non-audition, self-selected. Grades 9 through 12, there's 60 something of them in it.
Awesome.
And I really am dying to do this Ethan Sperry piece, Balelaka, coming up. And I'm terrified of the words, terrified of the amount of, polyrhythms and just the language. So are you saying that my passion for the piece, my excitement for it, and with obviously structured lessons, take it on, go for it, they can achieve it, even a self-selected?
Oh yeah. First of all, my program is self-selected, as you know. I'm a big proponent of self-selection.
Okay, we have to talk about why you choose that term.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Why don't we do that and go back to your question?
Perfect.
The concept of self-selection, I just want to be clear because I think most people misinterpret it. Self-selection means the students are self-selecting to be in the ensemble, and we are not separating the strong singers from the weak singers. Everybody that wants to be there can be there. Now, to be clear, if you have 250 students in your program, I'm not saying they all have to be in one chorus. You could set different kinds of parameters. Like you could have a women's chorus of all grade. Like my program, all the girls in 9th and 10th grade are in a treble choir. And then all the girls in 11th and 12th grade and all the guys are in the mixed choir. That's based on my numbers. If I had 50 guys and 50 guys and girls split evenly per grade, I might have a 9th and 10th grade men's choir, 9th and 10th grade women's choir. The whole point is that I believe in a program that when you self-select, the strong students learn how to become leaders. They pull up the average singers, and the weaker singers will get stronger through the guidance and leadership of the strongest singers. You can empower the weaker singers to become leaders in other ways, which will then build their motivation. And the strong singers could get extra opportunities like a chamber choir if you want to, or like solos or being section leaders. There are so many different opportunities. And rather than shoving all the best kids in one group and then leaving the rest for dead in a what most people think of as a y'all come choir, that's not a you all come choir. That's a you all come choir, but if you're talented, you're not there.
Yeah.
And that destroys a program. So the whole idea of self-selection is that students are, if they want to sing, they self-select to be there. But one other factor, that doesn't mean that our expectations are not really high, and what we expect of them to do is not of a high quality nature. And what I mean by that is not via vocal test, not you better sing your part, more that there are expectations of what you have to be doing, whether it's marking your music, whether it's working on your sight singing, being prepared if you have to memorize lyrics, anything that you can give that every student has an opportunity to be successful at, you do. And if it is great, if it's a gradation where a very strong singer can do it with ease and a weak singer cannot, then it's an effort-based grading system.
Right.
So with that said, we have high expectations. If a chamber singer, let's say chamber singers has, I'm making up a number, 24 students or 32 students in a typical program, at least in the US, that's what I'm seeing. Those same kids are in my self-select choir. They're right there. They're my section leaders. They're the vocal leaders. Yep. They're really strong. So why can't the group still do that piece? Those kids are there. Right. Now you take the average kids that just need a little bit of coaxing, and those section leaders, they'll get it on day 1 or day 2 or day 3. And guess what? The average singers will get it on day 4, day 5, day 6, because the section leaders are singing it in their ear. They're singing it next to them. They're helping. And then they're providing extra help for the weaker singers.
Which can be so much more valuable coming from them than from us anyway.
Exactly. Yep. So the point is that self-selection is misinterpreted as a choir of just anybody that wants to be there, but there's another space for this talented kids. If you put them all together now, do I believe your students could learn it? Yeah, because here's what's going to happen. You hand out a piece that's over the head of the average kid in your group. You move at a fast pace. You gear toward the advanced students. And you get your advanced students to demonstrate. You get your section leaders, as soon as they've got it, demonstrate 4 measures, demonstrate the ending. I always go through a whole piece right from the start. I don't sit on one piece. So I get through the whole piece. Get them to demonstrate. They demonstrate, and then maybe have them pull one more student next to them to join them and do another demonstration. And have that kid pull one more kid in. You know, and you do that, all of a sudden, guess what? Most of the group can do it. And you know what? There might be a few kids at the concert that don't quite get it. But at that point, especially if you have lessons, you could pinpoint those students and say, you know, circle measures 8 through 12. You're not going to sing those 4 measures. Okay, big deal.
Yeah. They still get the experience of high caliber.
You have to sing every note. I mean, I always say to the students, if there's 80 students in the choir, and if 60 voices are singing every note, you have a select choir.
Yeah.
You self-select the notes, the lines that are out of your range, that you can't find, that you can't reach. And we help to teach them to do that. And we can do higher repertoire. And guess what? Those students get better and better because they're singing what they can do. And what they can't do, they're learning and they're listening. They're not just doing everything. They're learning what they do well. So the answer, that was a long answer. I never answered a question.
Wonderful answer. I feel selfish because it was very specific to me, and I know there's other people out there, but I love that. That's brilliant advice. Thank you.
Oh, sure, my pleasure.
We on the choral repertoire page, I find that there's often people asking for repertoire advice based on concerts that have themes. It's not something I tend to do, but I'm wondering if you have any, do you theme your concerts or do you not? Why or why not?
Yeah. I don't theme my concerts. I have no issue with theming concerts. I think it could be a beautiful thing. But here's what I view. I view my program, my concerts, as an educational showcase. They're not concerts. Now, there's shtick in them. There's humor. There's everything you can imagine to keep the audience entertained. Okay, I believe in that. I believe that we're performing for an audience. But here's what I believe even more than that. I am there to have an impact in the lives of my students, and we are not rehearsing for a concert. We are learning music and diving in deeply in music and in life to help shape them. And when we get to the concert, I want to present the audience with the why we're doing this music, why it's meaningful, and how the students have connected and how they can connect. So for me, it's not like, oh, this is a concert about nature. No, because for me, I'm picking pieces. I can pick pieces about, nature, about love, about anything, about death, and talk about why and how it impacted our students, or why I chose it, or why it should have meaning to the audience, and bring them on a journey, not of nature, or here's 8 songs with the same Ave, here are 8 Ave Marias. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're driving everything toward a concert. And I don't want to drive it toward a concert. Guess what happens when you drive things toward a concert? Then you get pressured and stressed and pigeonholed into what you're doing. I'd rather go, you know what? I just went to a workshop. I saw this really cool piece. I can teach it in 10 minutes. It's a gospel piece. I'm going to just do it tomorrow in my class. And sometimes that sticks and it becomes a traditional for the rest of my, for the next 20 years. And other times we do it one day and we put it away. Who cares? I just want to excite them with music and with life, and let that excitement and joy reach the audience. And then about 2 weeks before the concert, maybe 3 weeks, I start to think about the concert. And we've got a lot of music. I'm cutting a lot of songs because they've learned a lot. I'm focusing in on a few. And then I'm figuring out, well, what can be funny? What can I do to add some humor? What can I do to add some theatrical stuff, circling the audience, or having a student say something first, or me having a good setup that's going to interest the audience, or whatever, or a lighting change, something that's going to be unique. So I forgot the question, but I think I answered it.
I think you did. Yeah, I did too. Oh, themes. Yeah.
Themes, yes.
Not programming. So I think I actually said to a professor over a decade ago about, those last few rehearsals before a concert always seem so efficient. Like, I wish the rest of the year could be that way. But he pointed out the amount of stress that's also involved with that high level of efficiency, which now I'm going to year 12 of teaching now, and I can now feel the difference and appreciate that. Aiming to not have that. You are also a clinician.
Yes.
In addition to being a teacher, blogger, writer, composer. From a clinician point of view, what recommendations or thoughts or advice do you have for especially our American choral directors that often attend festivals and competitions? Any thoughts on that?
Sure. Now, I don't do a lot of competitions. I'm really not a big believer in competitions. Why are we competing in the arts? I agree. I think it's kind of silly. And by the way, that doesn't mean I don't like American Idol or America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent. Or those shows, they're entertaining shows. And if we understand they're just entertaining shows, they're fun. It's great. It's nice to see talent. But when it comes down to festivals and workshops and in our states, we have all county and all state and all that stuff. The most important thing that I think I could bring to a group of young singers is excitement and life experience, and impart wisdom and joy through the music. Music is the vehicle for this. Now, I know some conductors that are all about, we should be grateful for this music. We should thank the composers. We should, and I think we're making it about the art, and the art is wonderful. I believe in it. But to me, the art is the vehicle, and we should be more using this opportunity to connect to one another. So I want to connect to the chorus that is in front of me, and I want them to connect to each other. That's what this is about. So when I choose music, I like to choose music that's attainable. That doesn't mean that there's nothing that's a stretch piece. There's always a stretch piece, but there's always something that is pretty much memorized by the time I get there. And there are pieces in the middle. I ideally want it to be memorized, everything to be memorized for a festival, that easy. Because the challenge is not about the notes and the rhythms. I think choir directors and clinicians hide behind that. It's like, let me get the notes right and the words right, and then watch the conductor. To me, I don't want it to be about that. I want them to be empowered singers that are making music, and I'm just helping to guide them. I'm not telling them what to do. I'm guiding them. They're watching me. They're singing with me. I don't sing when they're singing, but I'm just helping them to sing, to emote more. And so discussing why, what is the piece about? What's the meaning? What does it mean to you? And no right and wrong answers. It's not about judgment. This is picking music that we think can connect to our singers, that's diverse in its scope from around the world, that has meaning to us first. It's got to mean something to us if we want it to mean something to them. And picking songs that are attainable. You can pick a difficult piece, or you could pick an attainable piece, and they could both be musically meaningful. So that's my recommendation. Pick stuff that is attainable, that you can make music, that you can create meaning and a connection with one another.
It's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're about to start the year, obviously. Well, at my school we're in meetings all day right now. I got away. And I'm sure a lot of our choral director friends around the world are in a similar position. Do you have any standard go-tos for day one? Or how do you kick off your school year with your ensembles?
I was thinking about this before I came on, because I have a blog post which are, I think it's 10 or 11 mistakes that people make on the first day. And I realized I have not written a blog on exactly what I do on the first day. So I'm going to tell you, and then I'll probably write a blog on this.
Okay.
But this is my first day, and I've been doing it. I'm starting my 21st year at this school. So, it changes ever so slightly. But this is exactly how it works, okay? I'm going to take a specific class. I'm going to take, let's say, I'll take my treble choir. That's 9th and 10th grade girls. So the 10th graders have most likely been in the group for a year. The 9th graders are all brand new to the school, brand new to me. And then there are some straggling, brand new 10th graders I've never met before. Okay, so that's the scope of the program. So I have my seats are numbered. There's a number on every chair. That's permanent, sort of permanent. It's wearing down, but it's there. Outside on my door, right next to my door on the bulletin board, every student is listed by alphabetical order with a number next to their name. I'm standing at the door holding that same sheet, and that the sheet is there. The students can go to the bulletin board or go to me. I'm introducing myself. Hi, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Your seat number 27, your seat number 24, 22, whatever it is. On the board when they walk in, it says my name, the period, the class, welcome. And there's an assignment sitting on their chair that says, that's a basic survey, for their name, their birthday, what's their favorite this, when do they have a free period, why did they sign up for choir? Is it because they, their mom is making them, or is it because they love to sing, or they love the sense of community? And so I'm giving them about 2 minutes because some of the kids have no idea how to get to the room and all this stuff. Yeah. And about 2 minutes into the period, I walk in, and now I'm addressing the class. And one or two of my officers are at the door continuing what I was starting. And I'm still making an effort to greet every student with eye contact when they walk in. Welcome, have a seat, have a seat, have a seat. 2 minutes in, I'm still interrupting myself doing that, but I'm speaking to the class. As you fill out the survey on your seat, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Mr. Paltrowitz. This is my 21st year of teaching. I still love what I do. I do this because I'm passionate about making a difference in your life. Music is important to me, but what's more important is that I can use it to help impact your lives. And I'm so excited about this year. So that's the first thing that I'm doing. I'm introducing myself. I'm making sure, number one, that I've made eye contact with the students when they walk in. I make sure that they have a home, which is their seat. I make sure they have something to do. So if they're nervous, they don't have to interact with other students. And I'm reaching them right away so they know for sure they're in the right spot because my name is on the board, the period is on the board, everything is on the board. I've tried to create the safe space. In the meantime, I've really set up a discipline plan because they're already working. They're already coming in. From there, I go straight into my discipline plan, which is guidelines and consequences. And before I do that, I explain why we have guidelines, why we have a discipline plan. And simply put, we have it because we want to create a safe and productive learning environment for all students all of the time. And these guidelines are there because if you follow these, if all of you follow these, then we will have this productive environment where everybody can feel successful. So then I read the guidelines, I read it, and I might pose a question like, how do you think not following this guideline will impact the class? And so when I do that, I usually do it after something like my guideline, raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged when you wish to speak. Why do you think, who could raise their hand and tell the class why this is an important guideline? Now, I did two things. I reinforced that guideline by asking them, and no matter what they say, they're going to be right because I'm trying to get them to feel like there is no right or wrong. I don't ask right or wrong questions. Practically never ask a right or wrong question. So I'm guiding them in this way. So bottom line is I go through these guidelines, and then I say the consequences are there because I want you all to follow the guidelines. And when you don't follow the guidelines, it impacts the group. So I have consequences which are not painful. They're just clear, so I can enforce when I need to reinforce positive behavior. After that, now I've gone through that. Now we're going to sing. But during this period, my focus is on reinforcing the guidelines. It is not on the singing. So I'll say, and also on some routines. So I'm going to say, when I play a chord on the piano, you all stand up. So I play a chord on the piano, and they all stand up. And then I'll ask a question about breathing from the diaphragm, which I think is a joke because you can't. Nobody knows.
Yeah, I hate that. That's why I don't watch American Idols, because they say that you need more diaphragm. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll ask questions. I'll engage them, raise their hand. They feel good about it. They sing for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I'll say, okay, have a seat. By the way, when you're sitting, sitting back, you're allowed to sit back when I'm talking to you. Sitting up, level 2, level 1, blah, blah, blah. Play a chord on the piano. They stand back up again. Thank you. Great job following that routine. We're going to be doing that all year long. And we sing, and then we sit down and I do it again. So the whole point is that I'm really using this rehearsal to reinforce my guidelines so they develop a routine in the class. We sing a lot, but they're focused on the singing and I'm focused on the routine.
That's fantastic. I'm excited to read that blog. You better write the blog so that we can have this in writing.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. Let's see. I'm going to have to wrap up fairly soon because I have a meeting I have to go to. But I'm dying to know what you have programmed for your year. This year. Yeah. You must not have started yet, have you?
No, we haven't started yet. And I'm really not very, very good. I have no idea what I'm doing yet. Honestly, I have no idea. But I will say this. I try and write at least, I try to write one piece for my each ensemble for every semester. And I'm excited about that. And then, of course, after my groups perform it, I put it on my Choral Clarity website to sell. And I do that because I spent 4 months perfecting a piece of music with my live self-select group. The recordings are up there. But I love writing for my ensembles because I love writing messages, lyrics. I usually write the lyrics. Sometimes I take poems that speak to them, that speak to their age. And when something voice leading wise is not working, I am fixing it. First, I blame them. I usually blame them once or twice. And then after like 2 days of them not finding something, I say, you know what? It's probably me. And I rewrite it. I rewrite it until it works. So I'm always looking forward to the pieces that I'm writing. For the first time ever, I'm writing a piece for the men in the choir. I've never done that before, so I'm very excited about that. And then I'm always just looking for interesting music. Always looking for stuff. There's a piece by Mark Miller. Mark Miller writes really, really beautiful and simple music that really speaks to me. And he's in New Jersey. I've never met him, but he's probably 15 miles away from me. Just on Facebook, I've sent him, a few messages. We did a piece at the summer clinic called
Summer Brain.
Yeah, I know. Well, there's two. That's why I'm just mixing it up. I believe is the one we're going to do. I'm going to do it with my treble choir, but there's another one too. Two pieces that are just gorgeous. I don't know if I posted it, but really, really great piece. Two by him, and it's so beautiful, so attainable, so beautiful. Maybe I'll post it in your thread afterwards. Yeah. I'm so embarrassed I can't remember it. Beautiful, beautiful music, and I'm excited about it. And it's simple. It's not hard, but I can't wait to do it with the treble choir. I know they're going to love it.
Oh, I'm dying to know. Yeah, definitely post it. That's great.
Yeah. Sure.
We'll have to get Mark to join the Choral Hub as well.
Yes, definitely.
Get him in on it.
Definitely.
Okay, so last question.
Yeah.
I've always, for the past year, appreciated your blog because you are a real life teacher in the trenches with choirs. When the school year gets intense, so like for me, it'll be about a month, I'm guessing, when the school year gets intense and
Uh-huh.
things get stressful.
Sure.
What is the essence of your approach to teaching choir? Like if you could pare it down to, sorry to just throw that one at you. It's kind of a philosophical, but when
Sure.
times get tough, what is your...
Okay, number one, I do not bring it home with me. I do not believe in giving more and more time at school. I believe that we are paid to do a job and to do it really well, but we are also paid for the amount of time that we are there. That doesn't mean that I don't do some work at home. Doesn't mean that I'm not on my Google Doc rewriting something. But generally speaking, my energy is in the classroom and with my students. My priority is on the students, not on the material. So it doesn't matter. There is no deadline. The concert is a showcase. If you think of it as an educational showcase rather than a finish line that they have to reach, you will not be so stressed about getting to the end. There's always a different approach. What if you didn't get to the end of a piece or something was really sloppy, but you were so proud of it and you wanted the audience to hear it?
Yep.
What if you got up there and said, this is a piece we've been working on. It's really, really difficult. And this is way above what I've ever programmed before. I just wanted to share bits and pieces and explain to you why it's so meaningful. What would be wrong with that? What would be wrong with that? Why do we have to be perfect? And so the goal for me is, how do I get them to focus? Not so we have a great concert, but focus so they learn how to focus. So they learn that focus leads to reward. that having the energy, spending the energy to be successful leads you to be successful. That the reward, the joy is in the reward, not in the humor of laughing every day.
Right.
Things could be funny and we could stop and we could diverge, but it's really important that we're always trying to be productive and focused on something, and we're moving forward. That's all that matters. And if you can stay present in that and the connection with these students, and rather than on the material and a deadline, there is no real stress. So that's my advice.
I'm going to come back to that in November. So thank you very much.
Sure, really my pleasure.
Adam, it has been such a pleasure to meet you and to get the chance to dive in deep to the blogs I've been reading for a year.
It's my pleasure. I love this. I hope we could do it again.
Yeah, me too. I hope we'll see if anybody listened. And I cannot encourage everyone more. Please go out and check out Adam's material on choralclarity.com.
Yeah, and also check out the Facebook group. We have a Choral Clarity Facebook group also that's linked to your group.
Yes.
And the whole point is to discuss vision, and it's not about specific questions. It's more about guiding all of us to a deeper philosophy on what it is that we choose to do, the whys, why we're doing what we're doing. I love to answer the whys in my own career, and I continue to. My blog has helped me to dive deeper into why I do the things that I do. And I'm not trying to tell everybody how they should do it. I'm trying to guide you into thinking more about why you do what you do. And so I hope you join for the dialogue.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much, Adam.
My pleasure.
Enjoy the end of your summer.
Thank you.
All right. Bye, everybody.